Hey guys, what's going on? So, the first round of the NHL draft just ended, and it was extremely entertaining, very unusual. And if you weren't there, I did live stream it and react, so that will be a VOD on the channel. You could go check out if you want to. I will also be streaming tomorrow for rounds 2 through 7. So do be sure to stick around for that if you want to. But for now, I'm just going to be talking about what happened in the first round. And first of all, right off the bat, Shane Wright went fourth overall to the Seattle Kraken, which absolutely blew my mind. I wasn't that surprised that Slavkovsky ended up going first overall. However, uh, then Nemec going second and Cooley going third. I can't believe three teams passed on Shane Wright. Maybe there is some type of attitude problem that people have hinted at that you can only really understand after interviewing the various players. I don't know. But yeah, in my opinion, Shane Wright was the best player available in the draft. So I think the Kraken got a pretty good steal there. And I was clearly wrong. I predicted that he would go first overall. So that is one prediction completely wrong. But yeah, other than that, Cutter Gauthier went fifth overall, which wasn't that unexpected, but it's a pick that I don't really like, uh, considering how high that is. Juracek and Korchinski went back to back as defensemen, which is a little bit interesting. I think 7 is a little bit high for Korchinski, but of course, Chicago did acquire that pick in a trade, and I don't remember all the trade details, but for Chicago, I think they're really going full rebuild mode at this point, and for them, that's a solid pick in that case. Marco Kasper went 8th overall, which is okay to Detroit. I was a bit surprised. Kasper doesn't really feel like a Detroit style pick to me, but Steve Yzerman knows better than just about everybody else at the draft, pretty much. So let's be honest there. It's probably going to end up being a really solid pick. Other than that, the Sharks, my favorite team at 11, traded down with Arizona. So they got 27, 34, and 45th overall in exchange for 11th overall, which I think is a really good move by the Sharks, although I will get to this in a minute. It could have been a lot better than it ended up being. At 11, with that trade up, Arizona took Connor Geekie, which I feel like is a terrible pick to take that high, especially considering you're trading up. Yes, Geekie was not going to fall to them at 27, but if you're trading up that high and giving up 2 second rounders in the process, I think you got to get a guy who has a lot of upside. And Geekie, even in a best case scenario, I don't think has a ton of upside. I don't think he's going to be playing a top 6 role. He's probably, best case scenario, going to be a really good third line center. So I don't really like that move from Arizona. And Arizona in general, I don't like their first round of the draft at all. Other than that, Noah Ostlund went 16th to Buffalo, which is a pick I do like quite a bit. Ostlund is a guy that carries a bit of risk. I think Buffalo kind of went in that way in general, also taking Savoy at number 9, another player who carries a little bit of risk. The big thing with Ostlund is the fact that he went ahead of Liam Ogren, which is a bit unexpected. Most people had Liam Ogren ranked higher and going higher than Ostlund. So Grav had Ostlund ranked in the top 10, had him ranked well above Ogren. So I guess Grav gets the W on that one. Let's see, what else happened? Sam Renzel went 25th overall to Chicago, which is an interesting pick. He's not a player that I saw a lot of this season, so I can't comment too much on him, but he was playing U.S. high school out of Chaska High in Minnesota, which is why I wasn't able to really see any of his games. He's a player that I had ranked outside my top 50 only because I couldn't see him. I felt like I wanted to rank him higher, but it does feel like a notable pick here, especially considering some other guys that were on the board at this point. At 27, my favorite team, the San Jose Sharks, drafted, I can't even remember his first name, but Bystedt from the Swedish Hockey League. He's big. He can skate. He's decent. I really, really, really wanted the Sharks to draft Brad Lambert here. In fact, I can't believe they didn't. At 27, it felt like they were trading down because they really liked somebody that they thought would fall. And pretty much Brad Lambert is the guy that fits that description, you would think. for the Sharks. Lambert feels like the type of player Sharks would draft. They need a centerman. They did get a centerman in Bystedt, but I think Brad Lambert will have by far the more impactful NHL career of those two guys. And in that trade with Arizona, they also got 34 and 45. So they could have gotten Lambert and guys like Jagger Firkus, who did not get drafted in the first round, and Lane Hudson, another defenseman that they need, another guy that I really like, potentially get him at 45. I think they kind of missed on that one. And to be honest, I think Bystedt is one of the bigger reaches that happened in the first round. However, it was not as big of a reach as this guy, and that is, of course, Maverick Lamoureux, going 29th overall to the Arizona Coyotes. And quite frankly, I cannot defend that pick at all. I had him ranked, I believe, at 90 something, 94, and I was very tempted to leave him outside my top 100. He's huge. He's 6'7". I mean, he's not like giant. He's pretty lanky, I should say, but he's 6'7", and that's about it, to be honest. I don't like his skating. I mean, for a 6'7" guy, I guess you could say, oh, his skating's not that bad, but sure, he's 6'7". His skating's not great. He doesn't bring a lot of offense. Defensively, he takes up a lot of space, which is useful, but I don't think he necessarily reads play or anticipates play particularly well. Just general defensive involvement is fine, but he's not going to be like some rock star shutdown guy, I don't think. So he's definitely a guy you could have gotten later in the draft. Maybe not a lot later because somebody was going to reach on him, but reaching on him at 29 is probably going to end up being the largest reach in the draft, especially for me. Not a pick I like at all. Especially considering the very next player that was drafted by Winnipeg was Brad freaking Lambert. And this is a guy that I have ranked in my top 10. I really wanted the Sharks to draft him at 27, or maybe even Dallas at 18, my second favorite team. But no dice. He ended up going 30th overall to Winnipeg. Perhaps the Sharks thought that they might be able to get him at 34. Who knows? But either way, Lambert going to 30, I think, is a huge steal. In terms of skill and speed combination, there isn't really anybody in the draft who matches him. Could end up being a first-line center and one of, if not the biggest steals of the draft. Okay, so that was pretty much everything you need to know that happened in the first round of the NHL draft. Again, do be sure to stick around tomorrow for the second round, the second through seventh rounds of the draft. I will be live streaming that entire process. And if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like. That really helps me out. Consider subscribing and sticking around for the live stream. But regardless of what you do, if you don't do any of those things, that is perfectly fine. Just make sure you have a nice day.